Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's your girl Fee on YouTube, and this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Y'all listen, it's the Pro Boss and Pro Jesus Loving channel. Over here we talk everything Boston, everything Jesus. We plug in the word where we can. So I want to talk about, and I'm going to make this really quickly, a possibility of us getting a Rolly Romero versus a Devin Haney fight. Now, I like this fight. I looked it up. Rolly Romero is 5'8", Devin Haney is 5'9", and y'all know how Devin feels about fighters that's smaller than them. They're too little. You can't beat me. You too little. So long as they too little, you know, even if he goes up in weight, if they're still littler than him, he feels like he can beat them, and he has so far. The only person he had a problem with was Ryan Garcia. Of course, Ryan Garcia wasn't too little. Ryan Garcia was bigger than him and everything. So we know that Devin Haney has a problem with people bigger than him. You get what I'm saying? So Ryan Garcia got beat by Rolly Romero, which makes this so interesting to see how Devin gonna pull it off against Rolly, because Rolly Romero beat the hell out of Ryan Garcia hands down. Devin wasn't able to pull that same thing off. Now, we know what happened with the, you know, popping dirty for Ryan Garcia, this and that and the third. So I get it. And because of that, Devin got his O back. So it's not an actual loss for Devin. However, the style in which Ryan Garcia beat Devin, all of us boxing heads felt like, whether something was in the system or not, as far as, you know, the skill level, you know, everybody felt like Ryan could have possibly still won, even if it wasn't nothing in the system. But that's neither hither nor thither. You know, if this was pre-Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero, and Rolly was going to fight Devin, I would automatically say, man, Devin going to beat the hell out of Rolly Romero. However, this is post Rolly Romero, who beat Ryan in high fashion. And I still have Devin winning hands down, but, you know, I feel like it could be a very competitive fight at the same time. At least I'm hoping, okay? So, anyway, moving on. Keyshawn Davis got called out by Floyd Schofields Sr. To fight Kid Austin. And what I have to say to that is, Keyshawn don't take the fight. Like, no one wants to deal with those psychos over there. Those are some crazy people. Schofield and his son, it's something going on there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that everybody should just ice them out and don't deal with them, period, until they understand that the sport doesn't revolve around a bunch of propaganda, hoopla, and just a bunch of doing all these interviews on Mill City and fight hype and all this old type of stuff, and not producing no type of real fights. You know, after how they did Shakur, if I'm Keyshawn, I ain't taking a fight, you know. So, yeah, I would love to see the fight, but because the Schofields are like some really interesting individuals, you know what I'm talking about? You know, it's not a fight I need to see, okay? So, Tony Harrison, we moving on. Tony Harrison did a video saying how he spoke privately to Jermell Charlo. And, you know, Jermell was really pretty much polite to him, like, yeah, I don't want to fight you, you know, because Tony Harrison, like, let's make it happen. I want to come back. You need to come back. Let's fight. That would be a good fight. The first fight they had, Tony Harrison won. Second fight, Jermell Charlo beat Tony Harrison. All right. And, you know, we need a 3. We need to make that a trilogy. The presser was hilarious. You want to watch something funny, go back and watch all their old pressers for the build up to both their fights. The funniest in America. You heard me? So Tony Harrison was like, behind the scenes, Jermell was real polite about it. Wasn't no big deal. He was like, but then he going on a cigar talk, talking all crazy and talking crazy about Tony Harrison. You know, and he was just saying how Jermell is still a lame, still a dweeb, you know, still a sucker, whatever. And, you know, he would love to fight him. You know, he also gave his opinion about he feels like Errol would give him that work, and he talking big and bad about his friend. You know, Jermell and Errol was really close, and they used to get that work in together when they was over there with Derrick James. You know, Errol, the reason why, you know, Jermell went over there with Derrick James, okay, and left from up under his trainer that his brother's still with, Jamal. But anyway, he was like, he acted like, yeah, he'll give Errol that work. He say he could tell by Errol's demeanor that Jermell Charlo ain't do nothing in sparring just by how his demeanor is alone. And that Arrow has the type of aura and energy that he more than likely beat the hell out of Jermell during sparring. And I believe it because Jermell always kind of had more of a humble spirit when he was around Arrow. And he always just say he'll never fight him, and now all of a sudden you'll fight him when you get desperate for money. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe that's exactly what's going on. Now Jermell's smart. I used to watch his little podcast, his little vlogging thing he used to do, and he got a lot of investments. So I'm not gonna say he going broke or anything, but I want to say he want to put some quick money in the pot real quick. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see what's up. I feel like Jermell should fight Tony Harrison. That's the perfect fight for the both of them. You heard me? But anyway, that's all I got. Y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think. How y'all feel about Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia. Do you think that Jermell need to make a comeback against Tony Harrison, and Tony Harrison would be making a comeback against Jermell? And do Keyshawn need to waste his time with the Schofields? As those are a bunch of loose screws going right there. Like, do he even need to? I feel like he don't. I don't think nobody need to deal with them until they understand that this is people's lives they be playing with. You know what I'm saying? Especially after how they did Shakur. Anyway, y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for y'all. It's your girl Fee on YouTube. Peace.